The Coca-Cola Cup final. Right now, Highbury, FA Carling Premiership match between Arsenal and Blackburn Rovers. Our match commentators today, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Hello, Richard. Hello again, everyone. I suppose that Andy and I, like everyone else, has been talking about the David Batty, Graham Lasso incident. We all work with people from time to time we perhaps want to lose our temper with, but have you seen anything, experienced anything like that before? Two teammates?
I've experienced an awful lot of it in training, Martin. It happens an awful lot up and down the country. I'm sure it still does. I can't remember too often coming across it actually playing in a game. I have felt like throttling one or two of my teammates in the past, but always managed to control myself. I think it's unfortunate. It was an unfortunate incident, and I think it's one that shows that players, more than ever these days, with the intrusion of television, if you like, have got to be so conscious of the behaviour and control it as much as possible.
Well, Arsenal wondering whether they would be facing a Blackburn team, including David Batty and Graham Lasso. They both are playing for Blackburn today. Let's have a look at the Arsenal team. And Bruce Rioch has made just the one change from the side which saw off Sheffield Wednesday in midweek. Glenn Helder out, David Hillier in. It's a place in the starting lineup for him for the first time since April. Up front, John Hartson has been relishing the opportunity presented to him by Ian Wright's suspension. Bruce Rioch has been enjoying his side's showing of a more cavalier approach, but he has been reminding them over the past few days not to lose sight of the strengths that were responsible for so many good results in the past.
I think something that's influenced Bruce Rioch's selection will be the selection of Ray Harford, particularly that right side. Blackburn don't really have a left winger or a left-sided midfield player, and I think that's why he's brought David Hillier in there, to combat David Batty, who'll play left side. We know that David Platt's going to bomb forward, so Martin Keown's job in the centre of midfield will be to keep an eye on Lars Bohinen. I don't expect Paul Merson to be restricted on that left side. The way he's playing now, he'll be given the freedom to go and express himself. And with Bergkamp in the form he's in just now, and young John Hartson hoping to, well, go on from that goal in midweek against Sheffield Wednesday. This is a really good-looking side at the moment.
Ray Harford's selection awaited with great interest for his reaction, not just to the Moscow flare-up, but also to the dismal run of away results. Well, he's understandably preferred to hark back to last weekend, and it's the side which put 7 goals past Nottingham Forest, with Lars Bohinen, not eligible for Europe, of course, in for Paul Warhurst. So Graham Lasso and David Batty both play, again in close proximity, down the Blackburn left, and both, I'm sure, determined to put that disgraceful episode behind them.
Well, poor away form, no doubt about that, but I think the thing that will help them is that the back four and the goalkeeper, the last 6 league games, have really only conceded 4 league goals. Now, that will help them. They come here now, I think, more confident than certainly a month or so ago. Shearer and Newell, Alan Shearer. I mean, you look at that side and you would be saying, if we stop Alan Shearer, then there's a fair chance we'll win the game. And I think it's important that people like Ripley, Newell, and particularly Bohinen, do chip in with more goals than they're doing.
Well, Andy, we talked about a more cavalier Arsenal approach, and certainly under Bruce Rioch, the signs are that they're better at keeping the ball and that their passing is a different approach to perhaps the practical philosophies of George Graham.
Yeah, I picked out just one instance to show you, I think, that. Now, under George Graham, so often, Martin, classic free kick in this area, anywhere along here, and what would be happening? David Seaman would get the full-backs up the pitch, go on, up you get, you lot get up, and he would launch it. No doubt looking for Kevin Campbell, Alan Smith, and it would go there. But watch what happens against Bolton the other day. Now it's a short pass. That immediately gets them going. They're quite happy to pop it into the midfield area here. And even when it goes wide, if we can just hold it there on Lee Dixon. Now, 9 times out of 10, if I pictured Lee Dixon there under George Graham, you can bet your life the ball would be going big down the channel, looking for a front man edge of the box. But what happens? Lee now picks up the ball and he's looking to pass it. And this is exactly what happened.
Can we roll it?
Look at the pass. Is it going down the line? No. They're quite happy now to be patient, to pass it feet into righty. Look at the movement ahead of them. People going ahead of the ball now. Bergkamp, Merson, all involved. And they really opened them up. And the disappointing thing from this move is that they just picks out the wrong ball, Lee Dixon. But apart from that, that was a real change in what they've been doing under George Graham, and I think that's typical of what Bruce Rioch wants his sides to play.
I suppose the negative is that in the last 2 games they've conceded a couple of goals in each match, and that's unlike Arsenal. When we talk about 1-0 to the Arsenal, they'll be shouting 4-2 to the Arsenal as, as a common result.
Yeah, I think it's a balancing act, isn't it, Mark?
Absolutely.
It's a balancing act between, do you want your team to win 4-2 or do you want your team to win 1-0? I think this side that he's got going now are good enough to win 4-2. But what I think they are, they're very solid at the back. I don't think we should look at the last couple of games and say, hey, are Arsenal losing it? I mean, particularly the second goal against Sheffield Wednesday. Steve Ball's unfortunate slip in a really crucial area was the reason that they lost the goal. And I don't think it was down to bad defending in any shape or form. They lost a towering header to David Hurst, who would punish any team with a kind of cross that Chris Waddle produced. So I don't think their defence is any weaker because they're being more cavalier. And when you look at the side today, it's got Keown, it's got Hillier, it's got protection in front of it, and it's saying to the other two, Platt and Merson, you go, you four, Hartson and Bergkamp, go and destroy teams or get us goals. And at the moment, it's working really well, particularly here at Highbury.
And getting goals from all sorts of quarters. They've had 10 different goal scorers this season.
I mean, that's when you look at it. I think it's only Lee Dixon and David Hillier of the starting lineup that haven't got a goal of any sort this season. And then that's not usually, you don't usually associate that. Even Nigel Winterburn, what a strike that was, and should have scored against Bolton the other week when he missed probably an easier one than that. So that again is showing you that there's an optimism, there's a confidence about this Arsenal side, and that's going to test the champions today. And I think we're going to get a decent game. I think that Blackburn like playing here. I think it's a surface that will suit them today. And I think on the back of that bad performance, a bad result, not so much bad performance, it's a bad result in midweek in the Champions League and the unfortunate incident with Graham Lasso and David Batty, they'll be coming here in front of the television cameras, I think, hoping to impress people with the quality of their football.
Well, from the frozen wastes of Moscow, they've arrived in North London to find the weather mild, a little bit of rain in the air, but perfect playing conditions on yet another perfect Premiership pitch. Arsenal are in this interesting phase. Bruce Rioch certainly trying to shape the side along more stylish lines. But there's no doubt here, whatever the result, Blackburn will want to show that they're all pulling in the same direction.
I think that's important for them. So much terrible publicity since Wednesday, and I think it's important for the players to show the watching millions that you know, they're all in it together, and I'm sure they will. I don't have a doubt about that.
Arsenal defending a proud home record at Highbury, unbeaten here since April, 5 Premiership successes in a row on their own ground. Blackburn looking to end a poor record without an away win in the league since April. A miserable time in Moscow in midweek as well. But those 7 goals against Nottingham Forest, a reminder of the capabilities of the champions. It's the first half of our double-header today. It comes from Highbury. Arsenal against Blackburn Rovers. It's live for you. It's after the break.
Action from the FA Carling Premiership. It's Arsenal against Blackburn Rovers. And our match commentators at Highbury, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Our match referee is Graham Poll, who's had an early problem. He couldn't get the teams out on time because the buzzer that he operates from the dressing room didn't work. Well, Blackburn have felt this backlash from becoming champions. They lost only 7 Premiership games last season. They've already been beaten 7 times in the first third of this campaign. But for all sorts of reasons, they want to be seen at their best here at Highbury. And Sherwood bounced off the back of Mike Newell. He was able to turn and try and tee it up for Lars Bohinen. And here's David Batty. Away by Tony Adams, one of a number of players with a strapping around the hand. Adams was injured playing for England against Switzerland. Paul Merson was hurt on the right wrist, keeping goal in a training match yesterday, so he's got a bandage on as well. And I don't think I need to tell you why Graham Lasso has protection around a broken bone in his left hand. Bohinen. Jeff Kenner right back these days. Henningberg playing in the centre of defence. Ian Pearce is still injured. Arsenal 3rd, Blackburn 13th. the unusual time of the kickoff. Certainly the Arsenal fans have responded to the rallying call to come and see their favourites, who've given them so much entertainment this season. One or two gaps in the Blackburn area of the ground, though, Andy.
Just a few, just a few. It's just strange to see the champions not being able to fill that. I was just thinking, Arsenal couldn't have to do with another quick strike from Dennis Bergkamp. Last 3 games, I think he's popped one in within 15 minutes. And they certainly would settle for that again today.
Yes, Bergkamp with 9 goals in his last 10 matches after that slow start. Winterburn has scored against Sheffield Wednesday. Goals being shared around unusually at Arsenal these days. Ian Wright with 40% of their total over the last 3 seasons. And John Hartson dumping Jeff Kenner down on the track on the far side. It's a throw to Arsenal. Graham Poll not happy with the pressure in the ball. And he wants it changed. Fourth official, Paul Alcock. Let's try this one. Merson, Winterburn. Driven across towards Hartson's head by Winterburn.
It's unlucky, Martin. You know what he tried to do? He saw that Lasso was struggling, and he tried to just back off and take it on his chest. I think we'll find it caught him almost full in the face. He just pulls onto the back of Graham Lasso. I think he knows Lasso ain't getting there. Instead of heading it, I think he's trying to take it in his chest, just hits him in the face. A little unlucky.
20 years old, already a Welsh international, of course. Winterburn. Nicely steered forward. Free on for Bergkamp. Well, Blackburn have taken just the 1 point away from Ewood Park from 7 Premiership away matches. As Alan Shearer's late equaliser at West Ham. You might recall that when Leeds United were defending champions 3 years ago, they didn't win at all away from Ellen Road for the entire following season.
Oh, don't say that to them.
Blackburn are already well aware of that, and remember Leeds chopped and changed so many things, the tactics on the pitch, the preparation of it, whether to travel on the day, the night before, which hotels to stay in, anything to get out of the rut.
That's a bet that they'll win away from home this year, and I think they will.
Well, Ray Harford would like it to happen today.
I think that would worry you. If you're playing Blackburn, you know that well, I know that they're going to win a game away from home. It's going to come sometime. They're going to put a performance together. And you always think, well, law of averages says it might be today, it might be today.
Foul by Platt, who was late on Bohinen. Graham Poll saw it and has punished Platt for it. So to take the free kick. Headed on by Ripley. Newell. And down he goes, and Alan Shearer was leading the cries for Graham Poll to point to the penalty spot then.
I think we have a case for whether it would be a penalty or an indirect free kick, Martin. Certainly it looked like Steve Ball's foot was up as Mike Newell was looking just to play it back. It looked like Copner, well, he felt it, that's for sure. As the ball just dropped, look at that. There it goes, straight into the midriff. Well, that certainly could have been classed as dangerous play.
And it would have been an indirect free kick.
Correct, and that's, I thought, might be given.
So. Be a key phase of the game. Bohinen's been something of a talisman since he came from Nottingham Forest to Blackburn Rovers, including, of course, scoring twice against his old club. If there were wounds, he certainly rubbed salt in them. And that 7-0 drubbing to end Forest's unbeaten run, that was only last weekend. So much seems to have happened to Blackburn since then. The way their season has been, just when it looks as though they're putting their hardships behind them, one step forward, then it's 2 steps back. Bohinen, Shearer coming to link up in midfield.
They're certainly trying to mix it up every time they get the ball, and David Batty's got a free roll to go infield and join up. He just jogs over this near side when they lose it. That'll be the first booking of the day.
May not be the last.
No, not with Graham Paul around. Sure, he's got that yellow card and a piece of elastic, you know, in his back pocket.
Known as a hard liner, certainly amongst the players. And Henningberg has come a long way to try and win the ball.
I mean, it's something and it's nothing, really. I mean, it's hard when tackles like that are given yellow cards, and now Henningberg's got to be very, very careful.
Blackburn's free kick that time. Rather spooned across by Batty. No one more regretful about the Moscow affair than Graham Lasso himself. A person who prides himself on his standards of behaviour. He knows that snapping, as he did, was inexcusable. The best thing for him, and there was some injury risk as to whether with that broken bone in his hand he would be able to play. The best thing is for him to be out there and getting on with his life and on with his career. Here he is, no doubt about his ability. Just a small percentage of a fiery side in his nature that he's got to keep under control. Maybe in the end he'll be better for that distressing experience. Here's Hillier. Batty having to cover for Lasso and help him out. Hillier is probably not a natural wide man, but given the job on the right-hand side today, as Andy said earlier, with David Batty in mind. Here's Keown trying to, at the very least, force a corner, but he couldn't manage that.
He was a little unlucky, David Hillier, Martin. It was lovely play to release him down the right side. And I think he had a quick look up. He only really had John Hartson, so he tried to hold up play a little to let some of his midfield players catch up the play. Didn't really have many options, just to toss it in early. There's certainly a different look about this Arsenal side. Even in the opening few minutes of this match, they're looking to pass the ball about.
Well, the pragmatist will say, well, there's Merson having a pass into midfield that was cut out, and Blackburn getting the ball in Arsenal territory, looking for Shearer, looking for a chance in a way that Arsenal possibly wouldn't have been guilty of giving the ball away in the past. As we've been stressing already, it is about getting the balance right, but when they do put their passes together, as they have under Bruce Rioch, very pleasing to watch. Adams. Dixon. I suppose you could say one or two against Bergkamp. Bruce Rioch trying to teach one or two old dogs some new tricks. Shearer. Bohinen. Back comes Bergkamp.
If you're going to pass it, Martin, you have to risk losing a few balls in that area. And that's the price you pay if you want to get your team to change the style, change the way it plays. But it is about mixing it. They've got John Hartson there, so there are times when they can play it a little bit longer. And I think when Blackburn at the moment are thinking, right, they're going to pop into midfield, we'll go and press it. How clever it would be just occasionally, just to knock one a little bit longer into Hartson, and then get people spinning and joining them up.
He's always supported the passing principles, Bruce Rioch. Keown. Bergkamp, it's a bright idea, just trying to lift it on for Hartson. Keown competing. Comes back Bergkamp's way, couldn't flip the ball up over Bohinen's challenge. Dixon. Colin Hendry. Arsenal with 10 titles, the only club in the capital to challenge consistently for the championship. Bergkamp. Past Hendry. Back comes Lasso.
And he did well. He lost the ball initially. Just showed David Hillier a little bit too much of it, but showed great recovery powers.
Here's Berg. Newell. Ripley. Blackburn actually announced themselves at this level at Arsenal's expense in the first season of the Premier League. Rovers did the double over the Gunners in the opening weeks. 1-0 at Ewood, 1-0 here with Mike Newell getting the goal. And when people talk about Blackburn being a one-season wonder, they're forgetting that they were fourth, they were second before they won the championship. Jeff Kenner got a bang in the face.
Yeah, looks a little bit of blood there, whether it's a bang in the nose or in the mouth. It's just a tackle before that. That's the one on Tim Sherwood. It was an aerial incident just a fraction before that. What's funny about tackles, Mark, that tackle there, John Hartson, Tim Sherwood, that looked worse, far worse than the one Henningberg was booked for 5 minutes ago.
Well, John Hartson had a point or two to prove to Bruce Rioch in the early weeks of the season. I think the manager felt that the young striker was a bit overweight. This is how Jeff Kenner was hurt.
You can see it's completely accidental. They're just busily tangling with each other. There was a little bit... Well, the linesman in the far side and Bruce Rioch have just had a little word. Bruce was out, as he's entitled to do in his technical area, trying to do one or two changes. And the linesman took exception to that for some reason. Well, but he was down there chatting away to Bruce Rioch, telling him to go back into the dugout. Well, of course, Bruce is entitled to come out to a yard from the touchline, do his bit and then go back in.
That was a good flick by Hartson towards Bergkamp. Hartson again, down on the ground this time, and giving Blackburn something to worry about. Kenner actually played it off the Arsenal striker, and it's a Blackburn ball. Since Blackburn were promoted, the games between the two clubs here at Highbury have been very, very close. And it's shaping up to be very much along the same lines.
That'd be great to sit here and think we've got a 3-2 or a 4-3. I think in all reality, a 1-0 or a 2-1 or a 1-1 is a more likely result. Certainly what I would be betting on. I'm always prepared to be surprised.
Adams. Keown. Blackburn certainly interested in getting the ball in Arsenal's back third or the midfield area. It's been given away a few times by the home side there already. Lasso. Dixon. Back being pressed. Steered forward by Adams. Bergkamp spotted by Hendry. Winterburn and Bold sorting it out for Arsenal. Bohina. Here's Sherwood. It's Arsenal's turn to try and defend from the front. And knock the ball off David Batty here with Hartson. Lasso. Shearer. Quickly down the right-hand side, and Shearer's found him. There are possibilities here for Blackburn. Newell! It's a wonderful block by Dixon.
Now that's as good as a goal. That's as good as scoring a goal for your team, what Lee Dixon did there if you're a defender. Super move from Blackburn, carved them open. Look at Batty's position, inside right channel. He's got himself in there. It's a great run from Newell. He thinks he's there. He's not. That's a super block from Lee Dixon.
Shearer. It's the most forthright piece of football we've seen so far, and it came from Blackburn Rovers. McKenna. And Newell just looking again at the referee with a little sense of grievance, as if he was impeded.
But you're right, it was the best piece of football we've seen today by far. And it eventually found Newell, Ripley on the right. He plays a good ball, and he can do no more than that for Mike Newell. If he gets it up in the air, Newell, he might score. But he likes to play it along the ground. And that gave Lee Dixon the chance that he needed to get the block.
Rolled above Shearer.
You know, the tactic of pushing Batty in field when they get the ball, Martin, is proving quite successful at the moment. And I think David Hillier's got a problem. He's not sure whether to track Batty all the way. And I don't know whether that was the instruction that Bruce Rioch was trying to get to him, to come in and track him, because they are getting a 3-against-2 situation in the centre of midfield, and they are looking to pass it through there, Blackburn, today. Now, if he goes in there with him, Hillier, what he does know is that he's leaving a huge gap in this near side for Graham Lasso, if he wants to come into.
Bold. Dixon. From Sherwood. Gets it to Ripley. That's a good run by Ripley. And he's got his cross into Newell. Adams at his back. And Adams gets the ball. Here's Keogh. Noted perhaps for the grace of his game, an effective midfield man, but the crowd loved that. He was the king to a John Jensen goal. The swivel of the hips from Martin Keogh. Here's Hillier. Keogh steers it back for Platt, supported by Merson. Showed too much of it for Arsenal's point of view, and Sherwood got in bravely. Kenner pushing on with confidence down the right-hand side. Arsenal at the moment denied the services of Martin Keown, who's down hurt. And Gary Lewin will be required here.
There was a little bit of miscontrol from Paul Merson. It might even be Paul Merson that caught his own player and tried to retrieve the situation. Reaches for the left ankle almost immediately. But you mentioned that we both mentioned the difference in the play. Look at this, the way you just knock it in. Now watch Martin Keown. Bump, take that. And that was probably the biggest roar that we've heard today. In all honesty, it was the start of a very good move. They eventually shifted the ball from that side to this near side. And David Hillier just, well, not a natural wide player and not used to crossing balls into the box, I would feel. Didn't really produce a good enough cross.
It was a quick change from the pleasure to the pain for Keown. Bruce Rioch, incidentally, is the latest manager to abandon the substitute goalkeeper. He did it for the first time against Sheffield Wednesday, using 3 outfield substitutes and having 3 available. He's got 3 available today, including John Jensen, who would be the obvious candidate to come on in midfield if Keown can't continue.
Well, it'll be pretty serious for Martin Keown that he plays. He's a pretty tough character, Martin. But as you say, no problems if he does have to go off. It'll just be like for like, I would imagine, and John Jensen straight on.
Bird came over the top of Hartson. The crowd didn't like it. The referee obviously believing that Hartson wasn't trying to play the ball himself.
It's been a good 20 minutes for Blackburn. They've coped with most things, well, they've coped with everything that Arsenal have asked so far, and even fashioned out the best chance of the game for themselves. Arsenal found it difficult to break through.
And there's a real steely determination about the way Blackburn are defending. Hendry dumped Bergkamp down there and getting the ball as well. Martin Keown's back on. Batty. Bohinen. firmly for Arsenal. He needs a bit of help. There's no one to play it forward to, and as he checked back, he turned into the tackle.
They're certainly not overcommitting, Blackburn, even in that attack when they lost possession. I looked up. John Hartson is ahead forward for Arsenal, but there were 3 defenders back there with him.
Hillier. Blocked by Bohinen. Here's Adams. Merson. Hillier. Little spin away for Bergkamp. Trying to bend it over. Bergie did that, but Kenner made sure that there was no opportunity at the far post for Hartson. But Arsenal have a corner.
And we know how good Arsenal are at corners.
Halfway through the first half. Merson to take it. Bold, as you'd expect, waiting by the near post. Adams, as you'd expect, coming in from deeper. Goes in towards Bold. Giles comes through the crowd. Bold got to it.
I was unlucky. Just tried to side-foot it back over. Tim Flowers came into an awful lot of bodies. It's always going to be difficult for the goalkeeper, but they caused teams so many problems. Alan Shearer wins the header, but Arsenal don't care. Bergkamp gets himself in the way of the goalkeeper. He doesn't quite get a good fist to it. Could quite easily have just tucked that one over everyone's head into the net.
Bold, high above Newell. Hartson sensibly down for Bergkamp. Hartson again. And here's persistent, earns Arsenal a free kick. Hartson trying to distract the wall. Bergkamp still pondering. And being told in no uncertain terms by the referee to get on with it. Hartson. Hillier. Tony Adams is in there. It's a great leap by Hendry. Got the ball and got a piece of Adams as well. Bergkamp. Shearer. Shearer, we've got a bit close to him actually. It went behind to Batty. It moved infield again with Blackburn in possession.
I'm not so sure what that free kick was all about. Whether it certainly looked to get a little bit confused. I think they were trying to work a set piece from the training ground, but it didn't really work well. But certainly when the cross came in, Colin Henry was, well, he showed such determination to go and win that.
That's mine, he said. That's mine.
And you're right, he took a bit of Tony Adams as well.
Platt. Merson up in the front line, but not picked out. Sherwood. Newell. Adams thinks he can get there. He's right. Interesting comparison between the two goalkeepers, of course, today. England's top two. If you judge by Terry Venable's selections. Platt. So long, Shearer's offside.
I think it's going to sound crazy the way we've been talking about Arsenal, Mark, but I actually think they're playing far too much into the feet along the front. And Blackburn, as defenders, know that they can get as tight as they want against Hartson and Bergkamp, because they've not hit a ball over the top. I just think sometimes you have to turn defenders. It's all about making people think in the game. And at the moment, the Blackburn like that. I mean, that may look a senseless ball. If that's angled a little bit more, that just gives Blackburn defenders something different to think about. At the moment, they know everything's going into feet. And they can concentrate on that. Just once or twice, they need to be turned.
Well, there was contact by Bold on Newell. But Bold in getting to the ball. Given the benefit of any doubt in the referee's mind. Newell. He's getting a good run in the side now, ahead of Chris Sutton. Ripley on the ball. Shearer on the right. And that was a ball that deserved attacking, really, because David Seaman knew he couldn't come and claim it.
Well, it's a ball Alan Shearer would like to have been on the end of. The only problem was he was delivering it. Both teams have suffered a little bit of that in the opening half of this half, is that the lack of numbers really in the box. I think they're showing a great deal of respect for each other. Even David Platt, who I would have expected to be getting forward at every opportunity, has shown reluctance so far to do so.
Hillier. That's a fine ball. Bergkamp was going in on it. Hendry defended well.
I was calling over Dennis Bergkamp, Graham Paul. I know exactly what he's doing. As the cross came in, I thought Dennis Bergkamp just raised his arm, just as if he made an attempt to play it. He didn't make any contact with it, but I just wonder if the referee saw it too. Just watch this cross and watch Dennis Bergkamp. It does the arm go up as the cross comes in, and an attempt to flick the ball. There you go, left arm just goes up. It's really much ado about nothing, really.
Headed down by Berg. Okay, now that's over Shearer, not beyond Adams. It was something that Mike Newell was interested in. Had the Arsenal captain misjudged that, he could have run to the goalkeeper. Newell would have intervened. Hartson. Platt's gone forward. Haven't seen too much of that so far. Keown's pass cut out by the Martin Keown, limping heavily. Hillier has to chase back. Newell and Shearer in the centre.
And that was an important tackle from David Hillier.
Bohinen. Shearer. Going in where you might get hurt, but where you have to go in to get the number of goals that this fella's got.
We had half an eye on Steve Bowles' challenge, I think. I wouldn't often say that about Alan Shearer, but as it comes in, he's got well, half a yard, and I think he knows the challenge is coming from Bold.
Oddly enough, Bold was well aware of Shearer, and a little bit more determination. It's not something that you'd ever really accuse Alan Shearer of lacking.
No.
But it might have gone towards David Seaman a bit more powerfully if he'd given it absolutely everything. Bohinen. So making ground down the left. Hillier gets in the way. Mercy. But Blackburn keeping their defensive shape. Bergkamp trying to run in behind as Dixon's on the ball. Has to check to stay onside. Platt. Merson. Keown. Platt. Winterburn.
Even there, Martin Henningberg knew he could go so tight with John Hartson. He was actually in front of him when the ball was played in. And I just think occasionally, to make them think, to earn a bit of space, you sometimes have to put defenders in two minds. Is it going over the top? Is it coming into feet? Can I go tight, or do I risk getting spun over the top? At the moment, they don't have those problems, the two centre-backs of Blackburn. Because very little has gone down the channels.
Of course, had a fairly ordinary first half here against Sheffield Wednesday and really came out and turned it on in the second half in midweek. We're seeing from Blackburn some strong, aggressive effort to try and sort out this terrible run of poor away results. Bergkamp. No.
He got accused of using his body, I think.
As he turned away. Whistle when it wasn't the linesman.
Yeah, they're going to make a change, Arsenal, Martin. It looks like Glenn Helder's going to be the one coming on. And if it's for Martin Keown, then quite simply all they'll do is move David Hillier in one. And Merson and Helder will take the wide areas.
Yes, it may well be Merson will come onto the right-hand side. We shall see.
I think that's a sensible move. I think they've lacked a little something in this first half, Arsenal.
It's to do with the injury, obviously, but also it's the nature of the substitute coming on is to do with the lack of trust that Bruce Rooke has seen from his players. Helder didn't play very well in the first half against Sheffield Wednesday and was taken off at half-time. And he's got a current place in the Dutch national side that he wants to preserve, and he'll need continual first-team football between now and next month, when, of course, Holland play the Republic of Ireland at Anfield. Hartson thought Hendry had fouled him. Graham Poll did not. Merson indeed is on the right-hand side. Helder on the left. Hillier where he's happiest, central midfield. Bold. Helder wanting the ball and wanting to be involved straight away. Well, he'll run at defenders. He's got a free kick for obstruction by Ripley, and he'll certainly add a different dimension. It doesn't always come off for this Dutchman.
They only want it to come off once. They'll take that.
One Dutchman to the other. Bergkamp from Helder's pass. It's a tepid shot at the end. When you think in their last 4 home games in the Premiership, Blackburn have scored 17 goals, you just wonder why, week after week in the away matches, it just hasn't happened. The players must have been asking themselves the same question.
They probably think they're doing the same things, but
Well, we mentioned the England connection between the 2 goalkeepers. Just one aspect under the scrutiny today of England's chief scout. Ted Buxton, great character. He's here today. Always chatting. Bold. All the way back, Shearer sorted that. Adams. Arsenal. Well, Hendry's made perhaps his first mistake of the game. Arsenal do have the chance today to make up ground on the side above them, Manchester United. Because Manchester United's match in this sequence of fixtures is tomorrow. But don't forget, before that, the second part of our double-header today, the Coca-Cola Cup final from Scotland, Aberdeen from the Premier Division against First Division Dundee. Could there be an upset north of the border? And of course, from the FA Carling Premiership on Monday Night Football, Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Quick swivel by Lasso was timely then. Helder. Helder again. Well, there were 2 Blackburn players involved, but Bohinen gets the yellow card. Who me said? Was it his foul? We shall see.
he certainly pleaded innocence here, Lars Bohinen. Don't think it was him after all.
Tim Sherwood was the other one. I've just been a bit lucky. Bohinen is booked. Arsenal free kick, taken by Mercer. Oh! Still alive. Was David Platt responsible for that? Platt accepts his fate here with Graham Poll. That's an automatic booking.
Yeah, we can't argue about that one. That was just a little reckless from David.
Newell. Newell again from Sherwood's pass. Here's David Batty. There's a chance there to clip it up Shearer's way.
Again, no, Martin, lack of numbers. You see Batty make a super run in that channel again, down the inside right. He looks up, he's got one option, and that's Alan Shearer.
Bohinen. Newell. And Merson got a bit fortunate. Bohinen's foot, but only deflected away for Helder. Hartson. Arsenal have a corner.
Yeah, they might not be firing in all cylinders. Arsenal are really threatening in general play. But you've always got to be wary when Arsenal get set pieces in corners.
Merson to take the corner. Over Bold. Couldn't climb quite high enough. It comes Helder's way. Now Winterburn. Blackburn had everyone shaped up behind the ball, and the pressure by the furthest man forward, Bohinen, forces Winterburn into a sloppy piece of play. And Arsenal suddenly have to send the big man scurrying back. And Bold and Adams have got back. Batty. And 1 or 2 flashes in the first half from Ripley on the right, but it's Shearer coming in from that position. Ripley is one of those in the centre. You might remember that it was as a 17-year-old that Alan Shearer first got into the headlines when he scored in his first full league game 3 goals for Southampton against Arsenal. 7.5 years ago now. Doesn't time fly?
Tell me about it.
Yes, I was forgetting you're approaching a landmark in your life very shortly.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Life begins at 40, Andy.
Honestly?
Yeah, I'm afraid I can vouch for that.
Oh, good.
Ripley. Adams wanting more players forward. Hartson was strong, so too was Hendry. Paul Shearer will just be a little rueful about that, because there was space between Adams and Bold. If he'd really recognised that instantly, he might have charged on Shearer style.
Just lost his bearings a little when the ball was in flight. That was typical of what's happening, and a little bit of frustration showing there. Tony Adams with the ball and looking up, and the arms are out, asking what's happening, where do I play it, what am I doing?
Bold. Elliott preventing Ripley making any progress that time. Hartson's been very willing up front, and they've tried to play it quickly up to him. The slower it comes, of course, the harder his job is. This is Mike Newell. Able to line it up, but just for too long. Bohinen. That's rather typical of the strikes of goal we've seen in the first half.
I think he'll be fairly pleased, Ray, with the opening half so far. No real problems at his defensive end. The players have coped well. They've looked nice and solid. And, you know, when they've gone forward, they've looked to trouble Arsenal once or twice.
But after what's happened to Blackburn since he's taken over, he won't be taking anything for granted.
Well, of course, that can all change in an instant.
Maybe this is the instant. It's Helder. Called Winterburn in for the throw. Bergkamp turned silkily. Newell. He's made a little bit of space cleverly for Blackburn. Rousseau. It's David Batty herring through the centre. And they play off him. Great movement by Blackburn this. Bohinen, Rousseau. Well, just 2 or 3 times in this first half, they popped the passes around, and Arsenal have been straining to keep pace with it.
The thing about David Batty again involved, his movement's been good, but when Graham Rousseau gets in here, he thinks, oh no, unusual place for me to be. And he goes in hope rather than conviction. Sometimes think a player goes in there like, he's as well just putting his foot around the volley and saying, hey, if it's my day, it's going to nestle in the corner somewhere.
after what happened on Wednesday. He would really like it to be his day. As I say, he's overcome with embarrassment about his loss of temper, trying to put the record straight. David Batty is a more phlegmatic character, you feel will perhaps cope with his involvement. And after all, it looks as though even if he provoked it with a smart comment, he didn't raise the first fist. Newell. Blackburn did have more in the middle that time. Batty. Now Sherwood. Bohinen. Just a couple of minutes to go to half-time. You feel Arsenal have been heeding the words a bit of Bruce Rioch midweek about not being too reckless in the attacking of their play. Now Sherwood, who escaped last time, is going to get booked this time.
He was probably lucky then.
Kellier. Sherwood gets the ball fairly. Bohinen. That was classily done by the Norwegian. Had to drill it into Shearer, but it didn't come quickly enough. Fancy taking the extra touch. Arsenal anticipating the outcome. Bergkamp. Now Platt. Bergkamp, Hendry committed. Well, he got the ball. He was not going to be there first. And both players, they're mindful, I think, of this particular referee as to what might happen. Platt, of course, has been booked. It's a free kick against the Arsenal midfield man. Taken by Lasso, over Hillier, controlled by Shearer. Bohinen. Newell. Sherwood trying to get there. Seaman prevents the corner.
You just get the feeling that Blackburn are growing in confidence. They're starting to take a bit more chances. Sherwood involved in the attack high up the pitch for the first time in the match. Starting to put one or two more players into the attack and enjoying good possession.
And it's quietened the Arsenal crowd here. They pick up their voices now because Bergkamp picks up the ball. But that has been the type of episode that's happened often in this first half. Just a glint of promise for Arsenal. And Blackburn able to seize possession back. Tim Flowers has had a pretty easy ride in the first half. Bohinen offside, Batty, but another indication of the movement from Blackburn.
Batty's been prominent, you know, since the opening minutes of this match with his movement and his willingness to get involved. But that kind of ball that Lasso played to Shearer, that's the ball that's been missing, I think, from the Arsenal build-up. Just occasionally, the one down the side, the one stretching them.
Masson! Well, a real high moment towards the end of this first half, in the quality of the shot and the save.
Yeah, this is it, when you know goalkeepers are good. Neither goalkeepers had very much to do. In fact, they've been idle for most of the half. And when you need them to have their concentration right, well, he gets absolutely perfect, Tim Flowers. This is bending away from him into the top corner. He has to be at full stretch, and his hand has to be firm to palm it away.
Flat for the touch. Helder. Hartson. They were all in there for Arsenal as Glenn Helder retrieved it from the original corner. But Tim Flowers enjoyed the save.
I enjoy working goalkeepers. For this quality, I enjoy making saves, hate conceding goals. And they enjoy facing shots like that, as long as they do what Tim did and get a hand to it, push it wide.
Oh, and Platt has lost out. It's Bohinen. Newell trying to stay onside. Bohinen lines it up. Oh, he was taking aim. It was not good aim at all, to the relief of David Platt.
Bold did well, though. I think Bold knew that Bohinen's strength is on his right foot, and he just kind of edged to that side. He favoured that side. He said, if you're going to hit it here, you're going to hit me. So he made Bohinen really drag it across Bold and across the goal.
Half-time at Highbury. No goals. Arsenal can thank Lee Dixon for a tremendous early piece of defensive work to stop Mike Newell scoring. And then, close to the half-time whistle, Tim Flowers flying through the air to keep out the drive from Paul Merson. A bit more of a look about last season from Blackburn's work. And at half-time at Highbury, it's 0-0.
Right now, it's Highbury, where at half-time it's goalless. Arsenal 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. What about the attempts? 5 from the Gunners, on target twice. Notably that effort right on half-time from Paul Merson. 4 from Blackburn, on target 3 times. 4 bookings already. They must hate to see Graham Poll's reports at the FA. 4 now. How many more before the end of the afternoon? And the action areas, well, it's a fairly even split there. 52% of the possession for Arsenal, and the ball in play just over the half-hour mark. We're in the company today of Alan Smith, the former Arsenal striker, and Charlie Nicholas, who used to play for Arsenal, of course, and was involved in that Coca-Cola Cup final shock last year when Wraith beat Celtic. Sorry to mention that again, Charlie.
Thank you.
Alan, what do you think so far?
Well, it's not been the most scintillating, has it? We're just trying to pick out some high points. No, much as I expected, it's not usually a glut of goals at Highbury, but I still fancy Arsenal to go on and win the
I was just going to say, having said that, midweek against Sheffield Wednesday, they were trailing at the interval, and Bruce Rioch gave them a good roasting. They came out and really turned it on, so it's fingers crossed. But there could have been a goal behind, Charlie, when Mike Newell got in, and you described the saving challenge from Lee Dixon as good as scoring a goal when a defender does this. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. It's a great block. It's a great move for Blackburn. I think Newell's done probably everything he expected to do. He's kept it down, and Seaman's going in the opposite direction. It's a great ball in from Ripley. Good move. But Lee Dixon's taking the gamble. There you go. I mean, it's absolutely tremendous block. And he saved his team from going behind. And at that stage, it was important that Arsenal dug in. That was a great block.
And you sense if Blackburn do get their noses in front, they'll be difficult to score against.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Richard. I think if they scored first, possibly win it.
But Paul Merson, right on half-time there, Alan, something I think you've seen him do week in, week out. Yeah, in the Highbury jersey, brought a great save from Flowers.
Yeah, Paul hadn't really played a big part in the game, but then a little flash of magic to keep Tim Flowers on his toes, and that was going in. Just got his fingertips there. A lovely piece of skill from Paul.
Where is he better? Out wide as we saw him start today, or coming through there?
Well, Paul likes to play in that free role, a central position where he feels he can become more involved. I mean, he's not a winger, particularly on the left wing, because he hasn't got a left foot. But I think in that midfield, in the hole, as they say, where he can become more involved.
Well, it's fingers crossed for the second half, and don't forget the Coca-Cola Cup final coming up here on Super Sunday a little later from Hampden Park. Come on, Alan, you know this place well enough, and you know the personnel well enough. They'll want better second half, won't they? Yes,
they will. Arsenal are famous for putting on good second half displays, and they certainly need one today. The fans there haven't had a lot to shout about, and I'm sure Bruce Rioch would have had a few words to say to try and gee his men up.
For all that, Charlie, credit to Blackburn, who have come and done the job they would have wanted to so far.
Yeah, they have. They've passed it about quite well in the midfield without really too much penetration. I think Andy was right early on when he says there was lack of numbers really getting in the box, and I think both teams have been guilty of it.
You still fancy Arsenal, the two of you?
Yes, I think Arsenal will still do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Loyal to the core, Alan Smith, which is very happy. OK, they're back, as we can see. Blackburn first. Now Arsenal. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin.
Thank you, Richard. Well, not too many claimants for the man of the match champagne from the first half display, and I should imagine if it doesn't improve in the second half, that bottle will be heading its way to the Midlands for Andy Gray's 40th birthday celebrations at the end of the forthcoming week.
I think I've had not a bad first half, Lee.
We're ready to go for the second half. Arsenal 5 straight wins at home in the Premiership, 6 in all games. But they found it very hard in the first 45 minutes against a truly committed Blackburn. whether Ray Harford has made a real plus out of the events on Wednesday to try and get the harmony back in the dressing room that was missing out on the pitch in Moscow.
It's funny, half-time came at the wrong time for Ray Harford, just as his team were enjoying it. Well, I think the best spell in the match. They were looking to push men forward. Suddenly it was brought to a halt for them. Now it'll be interesting to see if they pick it up right away.
Newell coming in against Dixon and Adams. Out comes Seaman to knock it away from Batty. Sherwood. Well, Blackburn did finish the first half strongly, and they're showing signs of starting the second half in the same vein. Batty. It's behind Shearer. Winterburn and Bold going for a ball that either one could have dealt with, and actually Steve Bold limping from that collision with his own player. He might have got a bang on the thigh. Newell. Blackburn have three in the middle. Newell trying to improve his angle for the cross. Blackburn's last away win in the Premiership was in London against Queen's Park Rangers in April. Crucial victory, and by a Chris Sutton goal.
Oh, that seems like a long time ago.
Yes, we haven't used that expression for a long time. A Chris Sutton goal, not in the league. Hasn't scored since then.
Get him on.
Hendry. Newell touched it away from Bold, but Shearer was to the other side. Winterburn. Helder came at an awkward height, he controlled it well. Ripley can't stop Helder keeping Arsenal in possession. Well, Blackburn were winning the championship. Arsenal finished in mid-table, in the lower half, in fact, for the first time since the mid-70s, in 12th place. Hartson. Merson. Well, the movement to the ball came from Kenner. It was important for Blackburn that they found the defender there. Batty brings it out. Newell ahead of it. Given no chance by that pass with Adams' proximity. Merson. Behind Berg. For Bergkamp. Helder played to him quickly as he wanted. It's Glenn Helder for Arsenal. The chest of Sherwood intervening. Would have been a straightforward catch for Flowers, as it turned out. The captain wasn't to know that. Batty back to Newell. More zip about the early minutes of the second half. And offside.
That was tight. It was a little late. It's so often in the past you see that Bold, Winterburn, the arms go up. They're almost saying to the lines, they go and stick yours up as well. Watch how tight this is. It comes out, look at Winterburn. That's very, very close. Neither of the top two at the top of the screen were off. Now, if he's given Lars Bohinen offside at the bottom of the screen, then Blackburn are a little unfortunate about that. Rode their luck a little there, Arsenal.
The linesman who gave that decision was in the news earlier this week, Jeff Pettit. He gave the penalty in the FA Cup replay between Barnet and Woking to Barnet 12 minutes from the end at 1-1. Ray Clements thought his side were going through. The penalty was missed. And Woking put back in extra time to knock out the league side. Hartson. And so tucking in alongside Hendry to help him out, but There wasn't the time that the left-back thought there was. Dixon, the right-back for Arsenal, trying to come up with a variation to change the shape of the game in Arsenal's favour. Shearer, conscious of Winterburn. Merson. To the feet of Helder.
Well, Paul Merson looks like he wants to get involved a bit more this second half. Didn't see an awful lot of him until that shot later on. And that just might have been the thing that inspires Paul Merson onto a performance. Been involved 2 or 3 times in the opening 5 minutes.
Hillier. Able to get it back. Paul Merson has rightly been getting some publicity for his rehabilitation. A year ago, of course, it looked as though his football career was in tatters. Amazingly, he started every game since February after his rehabilitation. It's great credit to him. And he is a changed man. Good touch from Shearer. Heenan trying to break in behind him. David Platt. He shows that he can run towards his own goal as well as the opposition's.
Good discipline from Platt.
Heenan hasn't got that sort of time. Helder was on him. Hartson. Helder. Wasn't really strong enough to square up shoulder to shoulder with Berg then. Batty. Newell. Shearer. Got a sight of goal! Oh. He pumped it at goal, and David Seaman, with that nonchalant air of his, needed 2 goes at the save. Shearer's there again, and he's fouled his England colleague.
I was just going to say nonchalant, yeah, but he'd got a rollicking off his mates if anything had happened. It was a very casual throw-out. Again, they've got an awful lot of red and white shirts back, but they just allow Shearer that half a yard, and they really did drill that. Good positioning from the goalkeeper. Comes inside onto his left foot. And they really did get some power behind the shot.
It's that one-handed catch the second time that made it look rather relaxed. And as you say, what happened after that? But he does give this fantastic air of invincibility, David Seaman. Both goalkeepers remain unbeaten here today. And a tight contest, typical of the recent games here at Highbury between Arsenal and Blackburn. Bergkamp. Hartson. Bergkamp. Fine tackle in the nick of time from Berg.
Well, it looks as if it's going to take something special to open up this game, and Arsenal almost produced it there. Good interplay, good movement, but a good stretch from Berg.
In the 9th minute of the second half. Came off Berg's head, and then Sherwood's, I think. Lars Bohinen got a foot in, Batty can't keep it in play. Arsenal throw, a chance to keep Blackburn 10 back. Bergkamp. There is the worry from Blackburn's point of view, if Arsenal do get a goal, given the even nature of the game, that Blackburn might feel, oh no, here we go again in an away match.
I think that's fair. But I think Arsenal have got to do a bit more, Martin, to earn a goal. I think they're going to have to work hard to get a goal today. Just looking at who they've got left now, they've obviously got John Jensen and Paul Dickoff now, fresh from his goal in midweek. It might not be a bad time to throw the kid in.
Hendry is in trouble. Flatten Merson. Colin Hendry, who was red-carded, of course, in the Champions League in Moscow in midweek, is yellow-carded here in the FA Carling Premiership.
I'm not so sure he just couldn't get out of the way, Colin Hendry. It certainly didn't look as if he made any attempt to tackle Paul Merson. It was just Merson's pace and agility to get past him that embarrassed him slightly.
4 bookings for Blackburn. Hartson won that well. Here's Winterburn. Merson. For Platt.
That was aimless from David Platt, really. I mean, we talk about having pictures, and the ball was played into David. It didn't seem to have a picture of what was ahead of him or what was beside him.
That's a foul throw by Hendry. Ray Olivier, the linesman, on the far side. And Arsenal presented with an opportunity here. Bergkamp. Bohinen hasn't got it away yet. Might do now. Hillier going in. Back to Bohinen though. Ripley, Newell. Shearer pulling to the right, ahead of Kenner, who's on the ball. Shearer gets the better of Ball. Steve Ball tugged him back. Well, we talk about a referee who wants to produce the yellow card perhaps more than others, but Graham Poll given no alternative here.
Great skill from Shearer. Didn't touch the ball, but great skill. And no alternative there. Yellow card.
The 6th of the game. Hartson. Merson. There's room on the right for Dixon. Hartson. Well, it's an instant response to the ball at his feet. A flashing shot. Flowers smothering it by the near post.
Well, it would have taken something special to beat Tim Flowers from the angle. He opts to go for the shot. Nothing wrong with that. Hits the target. Nothing wrong with that. For about the first time in the match, though, David Platt had made a super run into the box, totally free.
Is it turning Arsenal's way here? Out come Blackburn with Bohinen. Ripley. Nice change of direction. Well, he can be a fine sight in full cry, Stuart Ripley. He's suffered, like some of his teammates, from the difficulties that Blackburn have experienced since becoming champions. Merson. Bergkamp. Beautifully done. Dixon. Henry Hartson through the centre, so Arsenal have to keep it in midfield. Think again about the avenue of attack. Got from Bergkamp to Helder. Crowd want a shot. Helder going on. Platt by the far post. Helder looking to find him. Kenner cut it out. It's another corner.
Well, that was more like Glenn Helder. Just sells two of them here. Watch the way he controls it. And then he's got to beat two of them. Now, can he do it in one? Drop the shoulder. Yeah, he's away. Just a pity he doesn't produce the cross. Jeff Kenner gets back in.
Miles has to reach high. But already, Andy, there's a bit more cut and thrust about the second half.
Yeah, more players getting forward, man. I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed. David Platt's now getting forward, as we expected he would in the game. Lars Bohinen getting forward. More and more players joining in attacks now. Important players like Bergkamp and particularly Merson getting on the ball.
Here's Ripley on the ball. Shearer. Ripley joining Newell in the centre. And Shearer wanted to go on past Winterburn. He couldn't do that now, having recognised his mistake. He's chasing Helder. It's a free kick.
Yeah, you watch the left hand of Alan Shearer there. Just grabs the right arm of Glenn Helder.
Merson. That's a really positive run. Did Alan Smith say he hasn't got a left foot?
Evidence if any was needed. He has a chuckle about it. But it is a good, positive, direct run. Looks to be going down a little bit of a cul-de-sac, to be fair. They had trouble producing anything, even if he had a left foot from there.
just took a little touch of his right foot, didn't it? Ran away from the left as he swung it. Hillier. Hendry, that's way away from Mike Newell. Bergkamp going beyond Hartson, hoping that it would be flicked on. Hartson was a long way away from it initially.
They just seem to have upped the tempo a little bit, Arsenal, the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, everyone in the North Stand, and the goal they're attacking, really committed to the Arsenal cause. It's giving a better feel to the atmosphere at Highbury as well, and Bergkamp, who's been finding the scoring shots so often in recent games, really scuffed that one. But Blackburn in a part of the match now where, with just one away point, there will be some concern as to whether they're going to get another one here or whether one late slip sends them home as losers again, back to the northwest. Hartson, knowing that Ian Wright is available again on Wednesday, going to do something here to make it very hard for Bruce Rioch to leave him out. Newell, Bohemian. Here's Kenner. Hillier. Hartson did well to get it back to Hillier. Held it. Crowd like it when he's in possession. You can see why.
Good save. I think it was always drifting wide, but Tim Flowers didn't know that. The bend on the ball from this angle, we've got a great view of this from where we're sitting, and it always looked to be just drifting away from that post. Might have just sneaked in. The goalkeeper knows, though, he's got to make a save.
Glenn Helder substituted against Sheffield Wednesday. Left on the bench at the outset today with a point to prove, and he's been very involved, particularly since the interval. Merson, Bergkamp, for Dixon. Oh, the cross really should have been aimed away from Colin Hendry. Instead it went straight at him.
Oh, he's having a go at John Hartson. I think John Hartson entitled to have a go back. He had a great position at the back post if Lee Dixon had stood it up.
Yes, just a little bit of a reminder there that players do have a go at each other from time to time, and on the vast majority of occasions, fists aren't raised.
Yeah, that's what's called a good verbal lashing, isn't it?
Helder. Oh, Lasso's missed it. Bergkamp slightly surprised. He's got Dixon. Back to Bergkamp again. That was lovely. But there's more consistent forward play from Arsenal in the second half. Hasn't yet produced a goal. Batty, Ripley, Sherwood. Here's Bohinen making ground. Winterburn coming across. Kenner. Sherwood wants it. Sherwood gets it. Bohinen. Shearer calling for a really deep one. It's just too high for him. Bohinen responded to the call. Oh, Shearer trying to intercept from the throw. Arsenal would have been furious if they'd tossed possession away then and there. Newell. Ripley, nothing right of him, so he has to go for goal, and his recent history tells you he doesn't find goal. 19 months since his last goal for Blackburn. Played under Bruce Rioch, of course, at Middlesbrough. Hartson taking out Berg. Ball dropped in behind. Kenner was there on the cover. Newell. It's another chance. Ripley. Bohinen. Lars Bohinen looking to pull a string or two from Blackburn's midfield here. There were times towards the end of the first half and right at the start of the second, and it looks as though it was going that way. Arsenal have redoubled their efforts since then. Optimistic range, Tim Sherwood. That's Blackburn's way and Bohinen's. He's picked out Ripley. That's Nigel Winterburn's good side. Well, the game is here to be won for both parties involved. Newell, Batty. And Batty not often caught that far forward in an offside position, but he was then.
And he has been forward quite a few times in this match, David Batty. Seems to be enjoying that. I don't know if he likes a left wing berth, but he certainly seems to be enjoying the freedom he's had to go and get involved.
Arsenal trying to force the play, the home side, slightly the greater share of possession. The onus on them.
I think that's a problem if you're a manager as well. You know this is a really tight game, and this just one little thing can change it your way or take it away from you. And Bruce Rear's got to look at it and think, well, when is the right time to try and change it by bringing someone else in? Or do you keep it the same and just hope that the lads battle through for you?
Ripley in the race with Bold. He did enough to make the Bold play it and not just let it run for a goal kick. So Blackburn have a throw.
Yeah, such was the quality of the ball. He was never going to be able to let it run for a goal kick.
Bohinen, and that now is a goal kick. Lars Bohinen not able to play for Blackburn in Europe. And given the recent round of arguments about failure of our clubs in Europe in recent times, I'm sure the Arsenal supporters would expect me to remind you that in each of the last 2 seasons, Arsenal have been finalists in European competition, narrowly failing to retain the Cup Winners' Cup last May. Easily forgotten. Although David Seaman will never forget that. Maybe wondering what's going to happen later on here. David Batty stationed at the moment on that left-hand side. That's been such a problem for Blackburn. As we mentioned at the Everton game recently, they've used 11 different players on the left of midfield since Jason Wilcox was injured in March. And I suppose it's not a great surprise that the turbulent moment in Moscow happened in that part of the pitch, in that part of their team. Lasso. Well, just when Arsenal are beginning to get up ahead of steam, Blackburn have found a way to take a little bit of the heat out of their situation. Bohinen's got back on the ball on a regular basis. Arsenal hesitated, Bohinen didn't. Still Bohinen.
Well, they stood about looking for a free kick in the centre circle. Graham Paul's having none of it. They didn't react quick enough. At the end, the shot really doesn't test. Just here, they're looking for a free kick. I thought they had a bit of a case. But when they don't, look, they just stand around. David Hillier switches off, but not Lars Bohinen. He drives forward. Doesn't quite get enough power behind the shot.
And they've all moved away from Winterburn. He's not very happy about that. He's edging down the touchline. Finally, Bergkamp comes to his assistance. Bold. Winterburn. Here's Sherwood. Batty, that was nicely played. Bohinen a bit behind Shearer. Newell all in front of Arsenal. Well, Bruce Rioch does believe in freedom of expression from his players. He came out with a great quote this week: if I'm sitting bored on the bench, then everyone else is bored as well.
Well, I was standing anxious on the bench at the moment, I feel.
20 minutes to go. Platt, remember, coming up for you later on today, the final of Scotland's Coca-Cola Cup, Aberdeen and Dundee from Hampden Park. And a real mouth-watering Monday night football for you. Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Bergkamp spins away for David Hillier. Helder. Hartson to knock it back. And Colin Hendry with one of the higher clearances of the day. Out of Highbury.
Nearly. Just hit the stand and came back in. He's played well today, Colin Hendry. He's been like a rock in the centre of that defence. So typical of performances I saw from him last season, when he was getting his head, his body, his legs in the way of everything.
Arsenal's corner. That was Berg. Lee Dixon. Merson in early. Hartson! He knows, playing to his strengths, that was an opportunity.
Well, all I can say, John Hartson, if he hits the target, he scores. It's as simple as that. He gets up early. He's basically unchallenged. Colin Hendry doesn't really put him off any. Gets a full head to it, a clean sight of the ball. And at this level, he should be at least making the goalkeeper work.
Newell. Hartson. Helder. Not the tucking back, as he does so well for Blackburn, but Helder was able to get beyond them. In fact, he has gone behind for a goal kick. Very positive character, Graham Poll. He's certainly one of the chattier referees. Often to say, name please. Well, the crowd want Arsenal to be more positive here. They want David Seaman to knock it long, in the old style, if you like. Well won by Berg. Helder. Oh, it's in behind Hendry. It's David Platt on the stretch. And it's Merson. And it's still 0-0.
Well, comedy of errors almost in there. As he plays it in, I don't know whether Dennis Bergkamp going up the front of Colin Hendry put him off. And then as Merson comes in at the back post, well, he gets a little bit of luck, Graham Lasso. Could have dropped a lot kinder for Paul Merson than it did.
Winterburn. Hendry tougher than Bergkamp there, but it falls for Helder. He shows too much of it to Kenner. Batty. Blackburn try and quicken the pace. At least Batty did. It was not quite so vibrant in their work, and Arsenal have regrouped. Ripley. Newell and Shearer in the box, but no one else for Blackburn. Ripley in a game of cat and mouse with Winterburn. And he's very, very reliable, Nigel Winterburn. And whatever Bruce Rioch's trying to do in midfield and up front, he must be very grateful to inherit her back line, like the one that Arsenal possess and the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you mentioned his problem of maybe trying to teach old dogs new tricks. Well, I don't think he'd want to change too much about the back four and goalkeeper he's got. think it would have been same again as the last 4 or 5 seasons, lads. Will do nicely.
Hartson. So only as far as Dixon. One or 2 little tricks that Bergkamp has tried today, haven't come off. 37,695. It's another amazing crowd at Highbury. 37,695. Flashed up on all the electronic devices here. Big screen, the electronic boards. Newell, Shearer, Ripley. You think by the law of averages.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. I think everybody at home knows what I'm saying.
No one feels it more than Stuart Ripley either, Martin, but he gets in there, and eventually it'll come.
Well, coming to Hampden, Aberdeen now arriving for the Coca-Cola Cup final. Roy Aitken, the manager. An injury doubt we understand about Scott Booth. And you'll see that final in its entirety. Scott Booth, we wonder whether he's playing.
Well, that would be a blow if he doesn't make it for Aberdeen. But work to be done here yet.
South of the border, it's 0-0. Lasso. Bergkamp. That could have been a push awarded the other way. Arsenal taking it quickly, the flag is up. John Hartson's round the goalkeeper, even then he can't put it in. It wouldn't have counted.
You're quite right, there would have been some talk about that decision. It could easily have gone either way. It was given to Dennis Bergkamp. Quick free kick, as you'd expect. Bergkamp thinking all the time. And I think John Hartson at the end will be a pretty relieved boy that he just drifts offside. Just half a yard in it, but he's certainly offside. The linesman gets it spot on because he didn't quite manage to finish it.
Paul Dickoff is ready to come on. Fresh from his goal against Sheffield Wednesday in midweek. Shearer. Blackburn, a shortage of numbers again in the centre. All credit to David Batty, who was really trying to get there from a very deep position. Bohinen, a little unfortunate. Platt trying to pick out Bergkamp, but Henry right on the job again. Ripley. Teased Hillier in. Shearer. Well, it's definitely a free kick to Blackburn Rovers. It's not another booking in the match. To the relief of Winterburn. Now up comes Hendry. Up comes Berg. Game a few opportunities, maybe to be settled by a set piece. Taken by Sherwood. It's too high. It always looked that way from Bohinen. On will come Paul Dickoff. And the number being held up belongs to John Hartson. So the big man goes off. The smaller penalty area predator, really, Paul Dickoff, is Bruce Rioch's option here. Dickoff, who's much appreciated at Highbury, hasn't had much time in first-team action. Scored a few useful League Cup goals last season. Hadn't scored in the Premiership for 2.5 years until he helped in that revival against Sheffield Wednesday last week.
He just changes it slightly, that's what he does. I think it's a good decision. Gives Henry and Berg a problem of coping with someone who'll make nice little diagonal runs in behind him, runs down the channel, gives him something different to cope with the last 10 minutes.
Merson. Henry has to chase his own header and hoik it away. Colin Hendry, if memory serves me right, once of Dundee, will have an interest in the Coca-Cola Cup final. Back from Bold. It's going to be won or lost here at Highbury. It's going to happen in the last 10 minutes. Launched by Seaman, but no Hartson to get under it now. But there's still the omnipresent Hendry. Dixon. Arsenal are trying to ease bodies out of the way then, rather than go for the ball legitimately. Well, Arsenal have brought on a Scotsman in Paul Dickoff. We'll look at some more Scottish footballers now. There's Dundee from Scotland's Division 1, the underdogs today. But out to try and emulate Wraith Rovers. Shearer. That's lifted cleverly for Newell. Well, this was a type of performance we saw regularly in away matches from Blackburn last season. Very difficult to break down.
But they usually pinched it, didn't they?
Yes, and this season they've usually had it pinched from them. Sherwood, who has been booked.
That's a problem that I think Graham Paul gives himself when he books people for, well, tackles that don't really mean anything. You see, that in my book's as bad as anything. Not as bad as Steve Bold probably took, but that's as bad as anything that's had a yellow card today.
8 minutes to go, and Paul Merson. Is he going to wind up something special here or tee up Dennis Bergkamp? Bergkamp, Flowers by that post, had his bearings absolutely right. And Dennis Bergkamp hasn't had his line really right today.
Yeah, if it was bending the other way, it may have caused a problem with Tim Flowers, but he was quite comfortable with the flight of that ball.
Push and shove between Shearer and Adams is booked for dissent. Loss of control from the Arsenal captain over the provocation. It's given Blackburn a possibility here. Although their ambition isn't huge at the free kick.
No, two in the box.
Not including Mike Newell.
He's left wing at the moment.
Rousseau takes. Shearer gets to it. And here is Newell!
Well, that's a golden opportunity. I think Newell fancied his chances against Lee Dixon, but it was all to do with Shearer winning this ball and playing a really good header. He knows he can't score, so he knocks it back across the goal. Doesn't get enough on it, Mike Newell.
That's Berg. Seaman's got to scamper here and had the presence of mind to realise that the ball was catchable. He didn't need to concede another corner. It's certainly kickable long. It's judged by Rousseau. Maybe Bergkamp had something to do with that. Slight contact. Arsenal's throw. Trying to turn 1 point into 3. Merson got a corner.
Well, they've certainly looked to side more likely in the second half, Arsenal, to be fair to them. They've looked to go forward, they've looked to be positive. But this is more like the defending we're used to seeing from Blackburn Rovers.
Flipped in by Merson. Defending from Shearer. Merson's second ball. David Platt, it's straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, there's acres and acres of space. There's plenty of finger-pointing going on in that defence, and no wonder. Look at David Platt's position. Lots of bodies in there, and he's in acres of space. He's a bit unlucky. He gets a lot of power in the header. Gets good direction, too good. Straight at the goalkeeper.
Winterberg. Bergkamp able to take an extra touch. Platt can't get away, but it goes Arsenal's way. To Dixon. prepared to take on Lasso. Well, I'm happy to report there was David Batty and Graham Lasso working in tandem for the good of Blackburn Rovers to prevent Lee Dixon in the end from delivering a telling ball. Smiles today when there were scowls and fists on Wednesday. Sure, and that's a wayward ball, and presented Arsenal with a throw and encouraged the crowd to get behind the home team. Dixon, 4 minutes left. Merson comes off Tim Sherwood's head. This is Helder. Well, he fell on the ball, and presumably that's what he's been penalised for. He fell, he wasn't pushed, said Graham Poll. Kenner to take the throw. The expression digging out a result comes to mind about Blackburn Rovers today.
Well, when you look at their away record, Martin, and they come to a team who's got such a, well, impressive home record as Arsenal have at the moment, and they would regard this as a very positive result, Blackburn.
If they get it.
Yeah.
Bergkamp. An early start for the match. Can Arsenal provide a late finish? That's what the Highbury fans, the majority of them, want to see. Winterberg. Helder. Well, no one was really believing in the middle for Arsenal that Glenn Helder was going to get the ball in there. Maybe if Ian Wright had been on the pitch, that's easy to say. Andy, where's the champagne going?
Well, it's been difficult because there haven't been many great performances, but with the result standing at 0-0, it's no surprise that most of the good performances have come from defenders. I'll leave it for a sec.
Batty, Newell's offside, it's in, but it won't count. The player who won the last victory for Blackburn at Highbury thought he might have pinched the points here.
Look at Steve Bold, that's the key, he just edges forward. And as soon as the ball goes behind him, up goes that familiar right arm looking for offside. The linesman gets it absolutely right, but that would have been a real kick in the teeth.
Dickoff.
Where was I? My man of the match.
Man of the match.
I think Lee Dixon's had a really good game for Arsenal at right back, and I think David Batty has played really well in that midfield role, got involved. Even then, that little flick to Newell. But I think the one who's been consistent and has been like a rock, and was like a rock all last season, has been Colin Henry. And he's my Carling Premiership man of the match.
He's got a few seconds plus stoppage time to see it through. For Blackburn at the back. Bohinen. Lasso. Newell. Not too many Blackburn players wanting to take a risk here to try and win the game and possibly leave themselves short in key areas and lose it. David Batty was an exception to that comment. He's covered a lot of ground today.
I think he's had a decent game, David. I've been really impressed the way he's wanted to get involved and with the quality of his football, really.
Well, it's a sequence of games between these clubs at Highbury. 1-0 to Blackburn, 1-0 to Arsenal, 0-0 last season, 0-0 today. Free kick to Blackburn. Newell, having earned it, takes it quickly, maybe too quickly for his teammates. They could have set something up to play it into the box in the few seconds that remained. 0-0, an away point for Blackburn. Only their second of the season. And Tim Flowers made a couple of good saves from Merson in the first half, Helder in the second. A positive response from Blackburn today after their midweek miseries in Moscow. And they've ended a run of home wins at Highbury. Arsenal stay third, but they haven't really taken the chance to significantly close the gap on Manchester United, who you'll see in action at the City Ground on Sky Sports tomorrow night in our Monday Night Football. Today, Arsenal have shown plenty of effort, particularly in the second half, but it just hasn't happened in front of goal. Blackburn have shown plenty of pride with a togetherness they certainly wanted to exhibit after what went on Wednesday. Arsenal haven't been involved in a draw since August, so perhaps no great surprise, given that these numbers came up today, 0-0 at Highbury.
Thank you, Martin. And Andy, who'll be, well, if he's got the bus fare, joining us before the end of the programme to look back on Saturday's Carling Premiership goals. But after the break, we'll be looking back on that match with Charlie Nicholas and Alan Smith. And then we'll be going north to Hampden to concentrate on the Coca-Cola Cup final between Aberdeen and Dundee. North London, that's where we've been this afternoon for our first match. Isn't it amazing how quickly those stadiums empty, look? And that's how we've been providing those pictures from our eye in the sky. Highbury this afternoon finished goalless between Arsenal and Blackburn Rovers. 13 attempts from Arsenal, 5 on target, 10 from Blackburn, but they were on target 6 times. Mike Newell had the ball in the net at the end there, but it didn't count. 7 booked. First half action areas evenly split. What about the second half? Well, couldn't be more even than that, could it? Arsenal with 51% of the possession. We're going to Hampden shortly for the Coca-Cola Cup final between Aberdeen and Dundee. Alan Smith and Charlie Nicholas, our guests this afternoon. Wasn't the best, Alan, was it, in truth?
No, it wasn't, no. A game of few chances. Arsenal had better chances in the second half than they did in the first. 2 clear headers from David Platt and John Hartson, which they would be disappointed they didn't score off. First half, Paul Merson with that great shot, which Tim Flowers fended away.
There's a lot of foreigners involved in the game now, Charlie.
Yep.
A lot of continental goalkeepers in the Premiership, but 2 of England's best on view this afternoon, and maybe that was one of the reasons why it finished 0-0.
Yeah, probably one of the main reasons. They both did well. Seaman here does particularly well. He's had 2 good saves in the second half also, but lack of imagination and real flair from both teams today. But whenever the keepers were called upon, they did it well.
Well, at least we have another game to look forward to, which is good news, the Coca-Cola Cup final shortly. But right now, the FA Carling Premiership table after that. No change right down at the bottom, where it's Bolton, Coventry and Queen's Park Rangers. Outside for the first time this city, of the bottom 3 there, Manchester City. Then it's Wimbledon, Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, Blackburn, still 13th. 18 points now from the 15 that they've played. Above them, Everton and Chelsea. And in the top half, it's right up the top that we'll be looking at in a moment or so, where Arsenal are chasing the top 2, Manchester United and Newcastle. So that today, a disappointment to them. 28 points from 15 played now.